Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday night once again, January 20th of 2022. Welcome to Guitar Town Hall with David NESDALL and my co-host, Ben Coombs. Hey, Ben.
That's me. First of all, I got to say thanks again, John and Mully, for that intro, because we have the best theme song in all of YouTube. Just saying it.
I agree.
That song is stuck in my head at least 3 times a week. At least 3 times a week. I have that riff, and I'm just, yeah.
The cool thing about it is Larry Mitchell called me the other day. He said, I watched your show the other night, a rerun of it, and because he was supposed to do a soundtrack to it as well.
Right.
He said, who's playing on that? Because not only does that sound just like Eddie Van Halen, but it sounds like really good Eddie Van Halen. That's a good song. It's catchy. You don't need me to do one. That sounds perfect. And I told him who. I said it was John Conklin. And then Mully did the photos and stuff. He did the video part. And he's like, you definitely have the best intro on YouTube. And I was like, whoa, that's saying a lot. I really appreciate it. And again, yes, thanks to Mully, thanks to John Conklin, and thanks to Desiree, because she kind of placed things together as well. And
Sure.
My God, every time I watch that intro, it gives me goosebumps. I'm like, wow, that's pretty damn good.
Yep, it is. It is. There's
going to come time when we're going to have to change it up a little bit, I suppose. Maybe we'll keep the same.
We'll get John to lay down the same track on an acoustic, and it'll be our unplugged version.
That's very funny. Yes.
Hey, it worked for Layla.
Yes.
Wow, we already got quite the crowd in here. We've already got Dwight Bailey, Magic Man, Dan of New Jersey, Bo Zeke, Bri the Sign Guy, Charles 75N, Tim Thomas, Magic Man, Gear Junkie 35, awesome, Guitar Man 45, he's 10 more. T. Ricky, Papa Blue, David Scher, Thomas Santiago, House of Twang. Always love seeing House of Twang.
I love that name.
Yep. Randy Crooks. Good to see you in here.
T. Ricky's here. Gear Junkie. Guitar Man 45.
Yeah.
Guitar Man 45. It's nice to see you on that Larry Mitchell on his Tuesday nights and Sunday nights, man. It's nice to see someone that watches our show on there as well. So awesome.
Yeah, I caught just the end of it a couple nights ago on Tuesday. I'd wrapped up my NASCAR podcast wrapped up at about 8:45, and then grab something to eat, and I'm like, oh, Larry's still live. Yes. I caught a little bit of it.
Do you like his sunset thing that he does at the very end?
Dude, I was debating even just lurking and just putting it full screen because it was trippy as hell. And you know what? I was in the frame of mind to enjoy that. So, and then Larry being Larry, and I'm just like, man, I gotta get into some of those reverbs and stuff like that because I'm like, he really does do just a lot of pentatonic stuff tastefully, and it just works so well. And
it works for him, That fractal audio FM9 that he uses.
Yeah,
it's like he's the master, first of all, but he's just amazing at getting sounds out of those things. Not that those things don't sound good, because they do.
Yeah.
Fractal audio probably is, in my opinion, the best of the digital world. It really works. But Larry really knows how to programmed delays and reverbs, and he's got two great ears. His ears are if I had his ears, I'd sell mine.
Right. Oh, I agree. It was funny. I'm a friend of the channel as well. Brad Guitar Miller and I were FaceTiming on Saturday, and I was noodling in here while we were FaceTiming, and he's like, "You using that LPD Cascade reverb?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I just love cranking up the repeat, whatever you want to call it, like infinite, because it does infinite reverb." I'm like, and I say, "Oh, the Larry Mitchell knob," because as soon as I crank it up and I get into that ambient reverb thing, I just start playing like Larry, and I love it. So I call that the Larry Mitchell knob, and I love it because it inspires me to play like him.
Yeah, it does. The next thing you're going to do is buy a hat, and then get really long sleeve, really nice collared shirts, and then a jade pendant, and you'll
yeah. I need to go over to the tack shop, get myself a nice shirt, a good, nice going to town shirt, and some jade,
and then you can be the carbon copy.
Yep. Maybe I could braid the hair to look like dreads. Sort of a hybrid Willie Nelson, Larry Mitchell thing.
Yeah. House of Twang says he was recently inspired by Larry Mitchell.
Awesome. Hey, Michael B. Mark Robinson.
Yeah, we have 30.
Larry, because of Fractal Gear, he thinks 12 years ago now. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have 33 pairs of eyes watching us tonight. Thank you so much. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
What'd you do this week, Ben?
Dug snow on Monday. Yep. That was fun. And then made some videos on Tuesday, I think. And then yesterday, yesterday was a snow day here. So that meant I had my niece Samantha over for the entire day. And wasn't that just a joy? So I went out and shoveled some more snow because guess what? It snowed again. And she decided to go out and play on the snowbank that I have that's almost as tall as me. So to her at age 7, she was just in her element. And then it was, okay, play outside in the snow and then come inside and Uncle Ben makes cheeseburgers. And she was just happy.
Awesome.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul. How you doing? Michael B. Yeah, that's cool. We didn't quite have a snow day today, but it did snow, and it caught people off guard because it started about like 8:30 in the morning, and then snowed all the way up until about noon. So you had the machines scrambling. People just really were, even though people were talking about it on the news last night.
Right.
We're going to get this snow starting about 8 o'clock in the morning. People didn't believe it, because who believes the weather person these days? But yeah, it was. People were scrambling.
Yeah, and I'm sure if it's similar where you are to where we are, when it does snow, even whatever amount, there's no place to put it because there's already snowbanks. Like they haven't got caught up from the past week.
Right, but here's the deal. I went to what's called dim sum. It's a Chinese breakfast with my mom, and it's Chinese food, but it's not like your normal Chinese food. Anyway, we could talk about that another time. At 12 o'clock, and then it just stopped snowing. And by the time we left there around 1:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, you wouldn't have even known it snowed because the main roads were dry. They were dry and no snow on them. So the main roads were fine. Just the side roads, side streets.
Right.
The compound here was pretty horrible. But anyway, it was. It was just a weird day, but nice. Paul Fuchs says, "Are there a bunch of empty guitar hangers behind me?" There's. I'm only using the top section really, and I have those 2 guitars off the wall at the moment. The bottom section, I can't hang guitars because if you see the guitars on the rack over here, I have another set of guitars right behind me on a rack, and guitars on the bottom set of wall hangers won't fit there. So I really don't have them. Just the 2.
If you pull at the racks, then they're toe stubbers.
Yeah, here, let me show you a little bit better.
Oh yeah, he's got all the racks.
I have the 335 down, and I have the guitar that I want to talk about right here with me. So,
because we have a guitar to talk about, I have pedals to talk about.
Yeah, that's why I have some empty racks. And again, I haven't really been hanging a lot of guitars on the bottom racks because they won't fit the way I have everything.
Hey, Cameron and Eduardo.
Cameron Brown, Eduardo's here. Hey. Oh, I'm stuck. Sorry. So, Bozique says, yeah, and the best dim sum he ever had was in China in 2006. Never mind the live gator that was on the floor of the restaurant waiting to be someone's lunch.
Wow.
Well, I don't go for the weird stuff, but there were a lot of good choices. You know, the place I go to is very it's very affordable, and the food is very good.
I found
about twice a week.
The key to when you're eating a variety of food, folks, is just don't tell yourself what you're eating. Just enjoy the taste, because like growing up, our family had a restaurant, so we would go to restaurant trade shows, Dave, and everybody had samples. So like it was like the ultimate buffet for stuff. But the key was because people would get sick because you eat such a variety of foods. And the key was just don't tell yourself what you're eating, because you're going to be eating. You're going to try a donut and then a lobster roll, and then it's just like you're just eating so much random food. But it was awesome.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Boy, it's so good, and I'm paying for it right now a little bit. I feel like a little bit full.
Yeah,
I ate so much for I would call it a brunch, that I only had a small bowl of cereal for dinner. I can't eat. So, and I don't do it that often. So when I do it, I make it last.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So enough about the dim sum and the Chinese food and
sure.
Making me like woozy, but
making me hungry.
Yeah. Magic Man says I have a bunch of guitars behind me. Yeah, I do.
A few.
Cool stuff. Kind of like a music store in here. And it's not over. I'm sure I'll have more. I'm sure by the end of 2022, there'll be more in here.
Or at least a rotation.
Maybe.
Maybe. That's today's answer. So, I was out and about last week. Hit up a pawn shop and rescued a couple of kids from the pound, Dave. Hey, Leo, and Fruitcake Tony.
Hey guys, how you doing?
And I wasn't really looking for anything particular, and my criteria has changed since YouTube came along, because I was just like, hey, if I've never done a demo on that and it's a decent price, I might just pick it up, type situation. But I picked up a couple of things I don't normally use, but they do go on my board on and off from time to time. The first one will start earlier in the signal chain. I picked up a new compressor, because why not? So we picked up a BBE main squeeze.
Very cool. Those are great sounding.
Mm-hmm. So, that's to play with the Telecasters and stuff, and then also to play with my single coil stuff. And I've been collecting the series, the Ibanez FZ7 Fuzz.
Yeah, there's a man, I stutter.
There we go.
Anyway, that series of Ibanez pedals are really cool. I love the
buttons.
Overdrive one, yes, but their overdrive,
the Smash Box.
That's it. The Smash Box sounds really good. That one's in really good condition too.
And I also have the chorus flanger in the series, which I realized I'm pointing at, but you can't see because they're off camera on top of this amp. So I haven't tried the fuzz yet, even though I got it on Friday, because I've been playing with other fuzzes in the meantime. Because as we were discussing off air, Dave, a certain rig rundown I watched last night confirmed I'm making a noise board, and I've got like the rainbow machine and to do craziness, and I've got tremolos and I need fuzzes. So I'm going through fuzzes I have around and stuff, and this Ibanez might be it. My buddy Aaron was on my show on Monday night, and he used to use that fuzz himself back in the day, and he said it was pretty cool fuzz.
Have you tried the Vemoram Myriad fuzz?
I have not, but I hear very good things about it.
Yeah, it's a really expensive pedal, and I'm not a big fuzz guy, but I mean Josh Smith is an amazing guitar player, but what he makes that thing sounds like, it just sounds incredible when he plays.
Right. It. Yeah, there's those guys that use fuzz, but it makes it sound like almost they're just using a clean boost. Like, how are you navigating that? So, Bozique says, sounds like I'll need a noise gate. I like feedback, but I do have a bunch of noise gates here as well that I can throw on if needed.
I like the old NS2. Just a great noise gate, It's small.
I was using a Behringer noise gate forever just because it was the cheapest one I could find and it still worked. I was like, hey, it does what it needs to do.
Yeah.
Although it did compress my tone a bit, which, who cares? I was using so much gain you couldn't tell.
I want to say hello to Loogie Flux.
Hey, Loogie Flux.
Hello, David and Coombs. Good to be here.
Yeah.
Again, I'm so sorry that I'm stuttering today. You know what? My throat is dry. I probably need something to drink.
Probably.
Anyway.
Eduardo never got good results using fuzz. Me neither for the most part. And I say there's kind of two families. There's the big muff style humbucker fuzz, and then you got your fuzz face single coil fuzz family. That takes a little more talent because you're riding volume pots and stuff. Big muff style with a humbucker, that's just open it up and let her roar.
Right.
Which has been traditionally more what I'm doing, which for that, my buddy Tim Lewis over at TL Pedals, I've been using his Stinger fuzz for that, which is basically a big muff with an added mid control.
That's cool.
Because I found fuzzes, big muffs, they're too mid scooped. And adding that mid control really opens it up to make it sound less muffy, but still very cool and lots of sustain and loudness.
I'm generally not a fuzz guy, but I do have a full tone 70s pedal. It's the version 2, the smaller box. And I like it. It sounds very good. Again, I'm just not a fuzz guy, but I figured you should have one.
Yeah.
At least one.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I have that one. It's funny that I mentioned we're talking about fuzz because Dennis, my buddy Dennis Del Gaudio came over today. He's an alumni from the show.
Sure.
And he's a big fuzz guy. And he has all kinds of more fuzzes than you can.
And I bet when he uses fuzz, it doesn't really sound traditionally like fuzz either.
Right. He does. And he came over and borrowed my 70s pedal, which was his to begin with. I bought it from him last year. He's like, he calls me up and says, you still got that 70s fuzz, right? I said, yeah, that 70 pedal. He says, you mind if I take it home for a couple days? I'm like, well, you can't have it back, but sure, you can take it home. Absolutely. You can take it for more than a couple days, but
sure.
Unless you have something you're going to replace it with if you fall in love with it again. He says, no, I'll return it. I don't really care what fuzz I have as long as I have one.
Sure. I've seen some good ones here. A lot. Yeah. The Boss FZ 3 is a very popular fuzz. Hugely popular. ZVEX Fuzz Factory, another great fuzz. The Keeley Fuzz Bender, I was lucky enough to play one of those, and that was one of the pedals that won me over, that got me into fuzz. That Keeley Fuzz Bender is just all kinds of awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know much about fuzzes because I just can't get myself into them. But boy,
I've been embracing the noise, Dave. That's the way I've decided. I'm like, no, I've been trying to tame fuzzes for 30 years. So I'm like, you know what? No, we're building a noise board. We're going full on loud and probably stereo. And yeah.
Well, Tom Morello made a career out of it.
Sure.
So it can be done.
Keeley Darkside, another good one. Yep. Seeing common thread. Keeley. Robert Keeley knows how to make fuzz.
He does. He knows how to make pedals, period. Period.
Yep.
That's
And
cool.
a
So
really cool guy, too.
So what other pedals did you get? Anything else?
Oh, no, I got those two. I was playing with that one. I think anything else been re-sparking my fancy lately? Nope, that's it for now. Tune in next week as I continue the journey of going through my own pedals to figure out how to build this obnoxious board. I haven't even got into modulation yet. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still stuck on gain stages. The JHS 3 fuzz is the first fuzz I like. Lots of interesting stuff wherever we put the knob. Nice. Hey, Janice.
Janice. Yeah, I get it. Well,
yeah, trying something different.
Conversely, I was playing.
EMAC, that's another good one.
Yeah.
That's going on the board. That's a given. That's going on the board because I want to have a variety of fuzzes. I want a fuzz face and a muff, and I think I'll go with the Stinger fuzz and the Soleil unless something else tells me different.
Magic Man says, thoughts on the Celestian Creamback or Neo Creamback? I don't really care for Neo speakers, although they're lightweight. They're kind of light in the loafers as well as far as sound. They just don't really do it for me. I'm more of a British type speaker guy, so I've got a couple of right now in my 2 amps. I've got a couple of Eminence Legend style speakers. One of them is a ceramic magnet, and the other one is a oh boy, what's the word called? A not ceramic, but Alnico. Alnico. And they sound great. But Dennis just turned me on again. Dennis turned me on to Eminence is making a redback. No, I'm sorry. It's not Eminence. It's they're just my God, Celestian Creamback, a 75 watt Creamback or a 70 watt Creamback, and they also make what's called a redback, and that both of those sound incredible. The redback is 80 watts, and oh my God, they sound ridiculous.
Nice.
So I may have to change yet again. I mean, I love the Legends that are in here. The amps sound like vintage Tweed amps. They sound fantastic. But holy crap, the British Creamback, a Creamback and a Redback together.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I still want to, for my Fender at some point, I want to put a Jensen in it. I think it'll make it more vintage sounding just by
absolutely
swapping it for a Jensen.
Yeah. Magic Man asks, what are the best speakers for clean tones?
Jensen, in my opinion.
Anything American is going to be better clean than a British. So, if you're going with Eminence, I would go with whatever their American line is. I wouldn't go with the British side. I would go anything American is going to sound better clean. Mm-hmm. Celestians are generally British speakers, and they sound good. Don't get me wrong; they sound very good clean, and I love a clean sound. But most of the time, I keep my amps on the edge of breakup so that they sound better with whatever overdrive pedal I'm using, and then I generally use my volume on my guitar to clean up the speakers.
Nice. Mark says he was talking to fuzz with Robert Keeley at NAMM a few years ago, showed him a pedal of his from the 60s, a Burns Buzz Around. He knew of them, but hadn't seen one, asked if he could take photos of it. Yeah, because that's the kind of guy. He's cool. I remember when I met Robert the first time was at an event here in Toronto. I talked to him for about 5 minutes, and then he says, want to go over and talk to Electronic Monks guys. You mind if you look after my booth for me? Okay. Next thing you know, like, me and Richie are. So I picked up his Duesenberg and was playing all those pedals because why not?
Nah, not a problem.
Yeah.
Magic Man's thinking about a Greenback and a Cannabis Rex. I've had Cannabis Rex speakers in a few of my amps, and they sound very good. But I think what I'm going with right now sound a little bit better. You know, it just depends on, it just depends. Depends what you're looking for. But, the Cannabis Rex is very good.
I don't think I've ever heard bad things about the Cannabis Rex.
No.
Like the worst you would hear is, oh, it's a decent speaker, but it wasn't quite for me. Like that is literally the most negative comment I think I've ever heard. Oh, the Green Rhino. That's a decent pedal, Bozique.
Yeah, any of those Way Huge pedals are great.
Yeah.
They look cool. They sound cool. Man, and they're big enough where you don't miss them with your feet.
Yep.
The knobs are great. Everything about those pedals are great.
Mm-hmm. There's George Trips.
Yep. An MXR, I guess, now.
Yeah. They're basically your MXR high-end, boutique-y.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Very true. So I want to kind of get into this right now real quick.
Let's get into it. Look at that.
My junior, my 58. As you guys may or may not know, I'm a huge Tom Bukovac fan. And if you don't know who Tom Bukovac is, YouTube him. He is one of my favorite guitar players on the planet. He's been on more records than you could ever dream of. He's got his own YouTube channel that started at the beginning of the pandemic. He started it as kind of a joke. He now has he now has like 65,000 subscribers and millions of views. He does like a 15-minute guitar lesson kind of talk thing. Whenever he has a minute to do it, he used to do it every day during the pandemic, and now it's like it's more like maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks, because he's a session guy in Nashville. So, and he works every day. He gets hired to do records all the time, and you basically, if you go to Blackbird Studios, you'll see him there. So,
and he was still doing some live runs this year too.
Right, he is, and all that. And basically, most of his gear, I'd say about 90% of his gear is all vintage. He's got the best vintage guitars on the planet. He's got a 52 Telly. He's got a 55 Telly. He's got a 58 Les Paul. A couple of juniors, early, 58 and 60 junior. He's got Strats Telly. He's got everything, basically everything. And if you look at my guitars, I tend to gravitate towards the custom shop versions of whatever he has.
Sure.
So, because I can't afford to have a ton of vintage guitars. I just can't afford it. But anyway, he helped make a compensated bridge for wraparound tailpiece juniors, 58, 59, 60, those styles. And it's called the Music City Bridge. And it intonates a wraparound P90 style guitar. This is it here.
Nice.
I got to tell you, this guitar has never been as in tune as it is right now. And also,
what's up, Jimmy Carr?
Hey, Jimmy. For some reason, this guitar is clearer sounding. It rings like a bell, and you hear every note. You hear every string exactly the same. You hear every note the same. The other thing is it's kind of a low-profile bridge, so it kind of doesn't sit too high up. You can get your action lower.
Hello, BV.
Hey, BV, how are you?
He was talking with Tom today.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yes. I love Tom. I have his number as well. We talk occasionally. I don't like to bother him too much because he's always busy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but he's a very cool hang. He's a seriously down to earth, sweet guy. And I wanted to thank Music City Bridges and Tom Bukovac for coming up with this bridge. It is a godsend when it comes to these guitars. Excellent.
Nice.
Check it out. It's about $150.
It's probably made of nice quality metal too. That's why you're getting more resonance.
It's really lightweight, actually. It's probably aluminum. It's probably aluminum,
Oh, really?
but it's just
I wonder if it's magnesium.
maybe. I don't know what it's made of, but it's very, very lightweight. But it's not pot metal. It's not,
Right.
it's machine. It's amazing. And like I said, every note is just in tune everywhere. It's crazy.
Nice.
So yeah, I put this on here yesterday and I haven't been able to put the guitar down again. I not that I was ever out of love with it, but I fell in love with the guitar again. And just wow. So update on the guitar. Great stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got DMAC in the chat here. Great to see DMAC in here. Nice. Good crowd.
Yeah, not bad.
And thanks, Randy, mentioned us. I'm 20,000 views away from 1 million views on my channel. So please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe.
Holy crap. Congratulations.
Thanks.
My
Randy's
God.
single-handedly trying to get me there.
Wow.
See you, Janice.
Take care, Janice. How you been, Jimmy? Haven't spoken to Jimmy Carr in a little while, so.
Wonder if Jimmy was lurking last week.
Well, that's cool too. If you lurk, you lurk. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything and everything is appreciated.
Speaking of which, I want to put out some positive vibes. I've had a couple of people reach out to me in the last week or so asking about him. A good friend of ours and alumni of the channel as well, Bent Tom, had been feeling under the weather the last while, and I spoke to him briefly yesterday, and was scheduled for heart surgery this morning. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. Well, he's had some heart issues for a while. So, but yeah. So.
Oh, well, best to Tom.
Yeah. I kept forgetting him. Actually, I'm going to text him right now because I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Say some prayers for Tom. That is crazy. Just want to remind everyone, next Thursday, we're going to have...
or announced, not remind. We hinted, but we haven't actually announced.
That's true. We're going to have Andy Aladort on as our guest, and he came out with a new record. He came out with a new record a couple weeks ago, and we're going to talk about his record song by song. It's an amazing record, really good. And I don't have it in front of me at the second, but if you check him out on Facebook, it's all over his Facebook, so you can get the name of the record. You can buy it. I think it's $20 or something like that. But check it out and check out the show next Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have some really good guests coming up. So stay tuned for all of that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
The quote-unquote big things are in the works.
Yeah. I don't want to mention names at the moment because I haven't actually put dates in the book yet. But
until they sign their name on the contract in blood, Dave, we can't announce it. That's the rules.
I don't know.
We didn't make up the rules. That's YouTube. What can I say?
I get a little squeamish with blood, but Black Pen. I'm all right with Black Pen.
There we go.
Yes, Wayne Akiri says Tom Bukovac asked Joe Glazer to design a bridge for his 1953 Les Paul Jr. Go to Glazer Instruments in Nashville, Tennessee to check it out. And that is absolutely correct.
See, I knew Jimmy Carr caught last week's show. I knew it.
Oh, yeah, Van
That
Halen
was a
show.
blast.
Yes, I want to thank Don Ward and Chris Locke again for guesting on last week's show. It was really a good show. It is still making numbers. People are watching it like crazy. It's been, of course, 7 days, and there is a ton of views on the show.
Well, and we found out afterwards that Chris doesn't do much in the way of interviews in any way, and that's the first time he's done an on-air interview like that. So, and we know he's very well known and a popular gentleman in the industry. So, yeah. And yes, I will pass along all these kind words to Tom.
Yeah, we both will, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone wants to say anything to Tom, just leave a little message in the comment section down below, and we'll make sure that Tom gets to read everything.
Definitely. Nice. It's nice to see Quentin James woke up and joined us. Just saying.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Yeah, P90s are fantastic. One P90, I'm a fan of one P90, not really two. There's something about having one P90 in a guitar that makes it so much sweeter sounding when you turn the volume down than when you have a guitar with two P90s in it. Now, it's probably the magnetic pull. I guess there are two camps that look at it differently. One camp says, yes, the magnetic pull of a neck pickup kind of makes the bridge pickup sound a little wonky. And then there are people that say it doesn't do anything. But I humbly am of the camp that when you have one P90, it actually sounds better than two P90s. That's just me. And they sound amazing, so they really do.
Oh, somebody woke up. Hey, Terry.
It's very funny.
Hashtag Terry's lurking.
Yes. Wonky, that's a tone term. That's very funny.
Yep.
Well, Zeke, I was just gonna talk about Jared James Nichols. He actually does have a really good Epiphone guitar. His Epiphone Junior is really good. But I've been watching a lot of videos of him lately, and it looks like he's playing an early 50s Les Paul with two P90s, like a gold top. I think that's his main guitar right now.
Yeah, because he had the one that was a standard or a custom with the single P90, with the black with the single volume knob. I remember them announce that, hey, Mitch, I literally walked into the Gibson room, I'd say 30 seconds after they announced it, because I could hear cheering walking up to the room, and I walked in, I'm like, wow, this place is packed, and I didn't realize they literally just announced it. And I was like, oh, it's that Jared James Nichols guy up on stage, and apparently he's got a new guitar. Very cool. So, yeah. A friend of ours, Six String Brian, owned one for a period of time.
Cool. Hey, Mitch, how are you? BV Ninja's funny. He says, yes, Tom Book's mobile number starts with 615. Yep, I got it. All the cool dudes' numbers start with 615 these days.
I'm close. Mine starts with 613.
Well, there you go.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, to quote Meatloaf. Wayne says, so 1P90 would be in the neck position, right? Well, if you're a jazz aficionado.
Yeah, no, it's a bridge.
That's rock and roller, guys. We just stick it right down by the bridge there.
Who said that, actually?
Wayne.
Oh yes. No, it would definitely not be in the neck. It's that would be a very muffly sounding pickup. Yeah, I go for one pickup in the one P90 in the bridge because with a tone knob, it makes it sound like if you use your tone knob, you it sounds like you have a neck pickup.
Sure.
You need. Bozic says, "Yeah, I'm very familiar with that story." David Nesdall, Jared's axe is called Dorothy because it was wrecked in a tornado. Bonham also hooked him up with this restoration guy who built it a new neck for his 52 LP. Well, that's something I didn't know. That's cool. Thank you,
Hmm.
Bozic.
Very cool. Awesome.
Leave
Scroll
it to
back.
Bozic to teach me something.
Hey, it's a give and take. We can't always just give the stuff away. Sometimes we need to learn too.
Michael
Michael B
B.
had a junior with a P90 in the neck. Liked it a lot. His only Gibson.
Wow. All right, to each his own.
Yep.
Not for me, but that's cool. I don't think I've ever seen a junior with a neck pickup.
Uh, no, I remember there was some specials. They did a P90 in the neck, humbucker in the bridge combo, similar to
Yeah, but I
like
mean just one pickup and it'd be a neck P90.
that. No, I can't say.
That is pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a cool thing. Rob Johnson is going to visit me for the weekend. He's coming here tomorrow,
Oh, Rob Braun?
staying till Sunday. Tomorrow we're going to hit well-strung guitars, and I'm going to blow his mind with the guitars. That is.
Mm-hmm.
Then Saturday we're going to hit another uh, local guitar shop called Music Emporium here on the island, and it'll be a lot of fun. He's going to bring a few guitars that I haven't seen yet that he has,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess he's going to bring his little Yamaha THR 10X,
Cool.
and we'll make some noise here.
Nice. Hey, Sandra.
Hey Sandra, how are you?
BV sent in a photo. He says it's Three Phaser Friday, but I think something else is up because he shows the three phasers, which that's fine, but he's burying the lead that we have three vintage MXR flangers there as well. Is somebody looking for a vintage Eddie rig? Because that's what I'm seeing there, dude.
Well, hang on a second. Are those for sale or are they just he's showing them?
Oh, that's probably just in his studio or something like that, is my guess. Knowing that, BV being one of those studio rats like Bukovac, just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if BV plays as much or he just twists the knobs. He won't say. He's a legend, but he won't say. He's a mystery. Okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Paul Fuchs, Wellstrung is not by appointment only. They're only open Monday through Friday from noon to 5 Eastern Standard Time. And the door is locked, so you have to ring the doorbell to come in. They will let you come in. You can check out anything you like. You cannot take the guitars off the wall yourself. They will help you, and they will show you anything. So if you ask them to show you a 59 Les Paul, as long as they know that you have some sort of brain in your head, they will show that to you, and you can check it out and play it. I would imagine they'll even show you a Carina Flying V because they have several of them.
Awesome. What's up, Muddy Waters? He says Trogley did a video of a P90 in the neck only junior. Was a Music Zoom made to measure.
Well, there you go. I'll have to check that out. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it. Huh. I'm surprised at myself that I have never seen a junior with a P90 in the neck. Pretty crazy.
I haven't. I can't think of
Hmm.
off the top of my head. Thanks, Wayne. We appreciate that.
And thank you, Sandra. Yes, if you like what you see here, it only takes 1 second. Please hit that like button, that thumb up. Click the bell. Hit always. Really, just takes a second. Promise you, we will not overload you with notifications. I don't do that.
No more than twice a week, and that's usually one live show a week. And if it's a big deal, we do an extra little tag out thing to advertise it. Or Dave might come across something cool and upload a video. You never know.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm not one of those guys that are that do these things every single night. No. Ben, you still don't do it every night.
I did 2 videos on Monday. I did a video and a live show.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And you know what? Your family, you're my co-host. I don't care if you do one every night.
Yeah.
But I get notifications on some people's stuff every night, every day, every night, and it's like, midnight. I'm getting a notification. I'm half asleep, and I'm ready to unsubscribe to some of these things because it's like, God, I understand you want to get views, you want to get paid, you want to make some money,
Yeah.
but really, midnight, it's crazy.
I hear you. Charles says, this channel never disappoints. Thanks.
Thank you,
Appreciate that.
Charles. Appreciate it.
And BV says, no, definitely not for sale. Yes, in studio, things happening, and yes, I'm playing through them.
Very
There
cool. Well, good luck to you, BV. They definitely look very cool. They're clean looking. You got some really nice MXR vintage pedals there.
Mm-hmm. They're all older than BV.
Yeah. Andrew, I know there's a troll in here. Unfortunately,
We got him.
Every time I try to ban it, it says error. So
Well, if you're doing it in StreamYard, you only ban it in StreamYard. It doesn't ban it in YouTube.
Oh, well, can you take care of that for me then, Ben?
Oh, yeah. Terry already did.
Oh, Mayhem and Terry are in here too. I forgot.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Sandra, the Ruskies are out in force.
Yeah. Sandra, if you want, I'll make you a mod as well. So I'll give you a wrench after the show.
Nice.
So what else is going on there?
Yeah, what else is going on?
We got? What's on your want list? What are you searching for today?
Well, this year is supposed to be the year of the flanger, so I should be looking for some damn flangers to demo. But I'm still kind of searching for fuzzes right now, and see how that goes. I don't know. I just figure at some point I'm going to stack enough of them that's going to just irritate the neighbors to the point where I like that tone's perfect.
I think that's
and
right.
And then I need 2 Marshall stacks and a high watt stack down the middle.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that, shall we?
Sure. We've teased it a bit throughout the show. So much to my amazement, folks, this guy, David NESDALL, watched Jay Maskus rig rundown. Now, I know they hooked him in with the Sparkle Telecaster. I know that's how they hooked you. Because that is a beautiful Tele.
The 2 Sparkle Tellies that he has are ridiculous. They're so cool looking.
Yeah.
And not to mention that he's got 2 or 3 vintage Marshall hole stacks behind him and a high watt hole stack behind him and a nice little pedal board.
Yep.
And they're doing a Premier Guitars doing a rig rundown of him, and they ask him to play the purple Sparkle Telecaster, and he proceeds to sound like a beginner. And I was so interested in the rig rundown because of all the cool gear. I was like, man, this guy's got to sound amazing. He's got to be great. And then he plays, and it sounds like your average local bar blues rock guitar player.
Yep.
And when I say average, I mean below average.
Yep. I think he was kicked out of CBGBs earlier in their career. They were kicked out of CBGBs, Dave.
Man, if a guy like that, and listen, he's doing something right because he's got a record or several records. He's on a label. Premier Guitar is doing a rig rundown. He's doing more than I'm doing. But oh my God,
Not for everybody.
I just don't understand the masses of people what they're thinking when they listen to him.
It's all about the lo-fi. Yeah, it's it's like his playing baffles me. Like you listen to a Jay Mascis solo, and it's just like the notes are there, but he'll play them in such a fragmented way, and I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, but that's so melodic and just. And then the bass player does not play the same thing as the drum or as the guitar player quite often. Like to watch Dinosaur Jr. perform, it's interesting. And I've been a fan since 90, 91, I want to say, when Green Mind came out.
The fact that you know the songs makes me cringe.
Well, that was funny. Yeah, that was his last, I think his last independent album. But when, come on, folks, Feel the Pain came out around 94, 95, that was a huge hit. Yeah. And national tours and all that stuff. So Wayne says, it always amazes me how much we all learn from tuning into this show. Thank you so much, guys. Or thank you guys so much. More than welcome.
Appreciate
What's up, Forrest?
Wayne, my buddy from North Carolina.
Nice.
Good bass.
Yeah, that was just a rig rundown for this year, Dave. That was the third or fourth one they've done with Jay. And how about that Vox style guitar with the telly neck and the Maestro bridge and the tunematic?
That was very cool. Yep. Very cool. Not my cup of tea. I wouldn't own one, but I was like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's funny, actually. Another friend and alumni of the channel, I remember a couple of months ago, Philip McKnight was talking about, they were looking at guitars sold on Reverb, and the number one selling Squire on Reverb was the Jay Mascis signature guitar. And he's like, who is this guy? I'm like, well, first of all, he's like the only guy with a signature Squire that's been out for 10 plus years. And I'm like, it's Jay Mascis. It's a Jazzmaster with a tunematic bridge on it, which does not meet the fretboard radius at all, but he doesn't care. So, the middle two strings are lower, and that's okay, because that's, yeah.
That drives me crazy. It really drives me crazy.
But it doesn't wobble back and forth like the original bridge would. That's why he did that.
Very true. And
although they might radius at Fender.
I gotta tell you though, those two tellies. First of all, I am Mr. Sparkle guy. Sparkle guitar color and me. I know I don't have any right this second, but you can guarantee that right after the show, I'll be on Reverb looking for Sparkle guitars.
I was just laughing at Paul's comment to follow up on Jay Mascis. Wait till you hear him sing.
My God. And
he sings very much like he talks.
I'm not the guy, and this is not the channel that are about, making fun of other guys and blowing up the spot. But it just surprised me big time.
Yeah.
Because the gear was there. It was a pro setup. Everything was like, oh my God, this has got to be another Bonamassa kind of guy. Because, the amps that he has sitting right behind him, the guitars, he's got an endorsement with Fender. This guy's going to be good. I never heard of him before. Then he plays, and I'm like, what's that?
It's so different. Well, and see, that's the thing, Dave. To wrap up, before I had discovered them, I was very much like we listened to the same stuff. Like I was, because it was 89, 90. So it was nothing but LA, Sunset Strip, and I go over to a buddy's house. I don't recognize any of the albums he owns. Right. And he puts on this stuff. And I was just like, I went from Van Halen to literally that. And I'm just like, it's like I never heard music before. And all of a sudden I'm like, what? Huh? And then after listening to the whole album, I went, I have to own this. It's still, I don't understand. It's like Primus. I don't understand them. It baffles me. And I love it.
All right. If you love it, then I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to YouTube the guy. And I'm going to listen to the songs. I'll give him a chance. I'm not one of those guys that, I'm just not going to give you a chance.
I'll give you a couple tracks to check out. That
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. But yeah, it boggled my mind. 55 pairs of eyes watching us right now.
nice.
Say hello to Forrest Melkaza.
Yes, Forrest. Good to see Forrest in here.
Forgive me if I butchered your last name.
I'd go with
Thank-
Milkava,
Okay.
but I'm not always right. Dave Sparkle NESDALL. Exactly, Mayhem. Gotta love Sparkle.
Hey, listen, I know that I was Mr. Grump on my previous channel, the previous channel I was on, but I don't think I'm that much of a grump these days. I think I'm pretty damn happy. When you got a co-host that treats you really well, there's no reason to be upset.
Let's see here.
Yeah, BB
right,
Ninja. Andy's record is called Light of Love. That is correct. And there are a lot. Basically, every song is a great song on it. But my favorite song is Out for a Ride. Check out that song, Out for a Ride. And not that it's because it has to do with me, and I'll tell you the reason why. It's a real catchy song. It's a great song. Andy has been a friend of mine for over 30 years. And when I worked at Guitar Center, he would come to visit me, like when he's had a bad day or when he's had enough of working for Guitar World or whatever he was doing, because he's always busy. He would come visit me out at Guitar Center, and he'd go out for a ride. One day he comes out and we had a great time. I showed him a bunch of guitars. He sat and he just played guitar. And then he went home and wrote the song Out for a Ride, and it was because he came to see me. And he'll explain all of that next week when we have him on here talking about his record.
What's up, Brad?
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Earlier. And Paul Fuchs, I love Butthole Surfers too. Yep.
I love that name. I don't think I've ever heard a song from them, but I love the name.
Oh, Pepper was their one big hit. Run say, those early mid 90s. I call it the Lollapalooza years,
Yeah, they don't do that anymore, do they?
No. Well, what used to be a tour is now just a festival in Chicago.
Okay.
And I think they had it this year. Yeah, they did. Because I remember an artist doing something, like a rant or something. Maybe that was the Limp Bizkit incident. Was at Lollapalooza this year. Can't remember. Finger 11, yep. Seen them live. But before they were called Finger 11, because the record company told them to give them a better band name, they were known as the Rainbow Butt Monkeys. And they used to play my hometown, Dave, every 3 months.
Wow.
Yep.
And were you in that band?
I was not in the band. I was about 5 years younger, but I was that guy just old enough to get into the bar to see them.
Okay.
Yep. They used to play the Rock and Royal, Mayhem. Rainbow Butt Monkeys. And then became Finger 11 and became huge.
Yeah. Guitar Man 45. Pat Metheny is better than good. He's amazing.
He is.
Now, do I listen to his music? Not a chance. I'm not a jazz guy. But he's an amazing guitar player.
I can appreciate him. Butthole Surfers were on the very first Lollapalooza tour. Yep. Because of that single Pepper. I guarantee you that's why. I think Jonathan Jr. was on that first tour too.
I got to thank my friend Wayne. He says,
yes.
Kenny Dorr and I spent a week with David some years ago, and David cannot have been a better host and more generous guy. Thank you, David. Well, thank you, Wayne. Appreciate it. It was a fun time. Boy, did we have a good time going into Manhattan. We went out to 2 different bars. We were supposed to have a gig at this one bar with this one cat that never showed up. It's very funny. The leader of the band who told us we had a gig at this one bar in Manhattan, and the guy is from North Carolina.
Okay.
So the leader of the band that was in North Carolina told these 2 guys, Wayne and Kenny, go up to New York and we're going to go to this bar, and we got a gig there. David will hook you up. You could stay at his place. So they come up on their own dime. They hang out here. We had a great weekend. We go to this bar with all of our gear. They don't know what the hell we're talking about. The leader of the band never shows up. And I don't remember when we spoke to him whether he said, "Oh, I just couldn't make it." I don't remember what the circumstance why he didn't come up, but he never came up. So, all right, we were already in Manhattan. They had at that bar, they had a great buffet. So we ate the buffet, left that place, went to another bar called the Sugar Bar in lower Harlem, lower Harlem. I think we were the only 3 white guys there. They took us in like we were brothers, like brothers. So I don't care what anyone says, Harlem being dangerous, Harlem being black and it's bad news. God, I got to tell you, that place is the coolest place, one of the coolest places in Manhattan. Black, white, whatever, it don't matter. It doesn't matter anymore, man. And if you're a musician, it especially doesn't matter if you're a musician. They took us in. The band that was playing there, they didn't know who the hell we were. They took us in. They let us go on that stage. We played like 3 songs that night with the house band. Didn't know us from a hole in the wall because I walked in with a guitar and I think Wayne walked in with a bass. And they said, "Hey, come up and play a song. You play? Are you good? Do you play?" "Yeah, we're all right. We play. I've been playing a long time." They just let us come up. And I don't remember. I think we may have played Hoochie Coochie Man and something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but when I sing that song, I sound like a 70-year-old black man when I sing it. I know it's far-fetched, but it's the truth. And afterwards, it was like we were part of the family there, and they invited us back anytime. Now, that is a true story, and Wayne will tell you as well. Wayne in the chat will tell you.
Got Dave Ennis and Mark Taft joining us.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Nice. Dave Ennis says, recently watched a documentary on Ozzy. Never liked him before, but thought I'd better give him an honest try. Mind blown. I was always a casual Ozzy fan, obviously a fan of his guitar players, but he did a show with his son a few years ago, a TV show where they go around checking out historical things and stuff, like road tripping with his son Jack. And to see his enthusiasm, for history, because he is a history buff, and just the interaction with him and his son and stuff, that made me such more of a fan. And it's funny because my dad started watching that show too around the same time, and Dad could not stand Ozzy Osbourne music. Too much gain. That's too much gain, Dave. It's too much gain. Steve Cropper had the right amount of gain. Too much gain. And so, but he's like, oh, that guy, because they're about the same age, and he's like, yeah, he's just an old guy having fun, and whatever. And that's the way I see it.
Well, yes, Ozzy always has great guitar players. He's got amazing music. He writes amazing songs. I mean, he was a grandfather of heavy metal. He is a grandfather of heavy metal. Yep. He's a legend. That being said, my favorite Ozzy record is the one that has my buddy Brad Gillis on it. And I love Brad, and it doesn't matter what he does. I think Speak of the Devil. It is Speak of the Devil, yes? That's the live record with Brad Gillis?
Yep.
My God, is that fantastic. It's just ridiculous. My favorite record.
You're not that far off there, Paul Fuchs.
What else we got here? I'm just trying to read. If I sound slow, guys, it's because I'm trying to read the chat a little bit. Yeah, everyone's talking about Ozzy now. That's
Mm-hmm.
cool. So yeah, I just got my mind all blown up from talking about Ozzy. It's good stuff.
All good. Hello, Getcha Bite. Hey, that's a
Oh
new name in the chat. Welcome. Brad had the most amazing tone on that record and those Mesa Boogies, or with those Mesa
yeah, I
Boogies.
mean
Yeah.
Brad's tone is always great. I mean I think he's using Black Star amps right now, and he still sounds amazing. Now I would imagine that Black Star is making a special amp for him. I don't think it's your normal Black Star that you can buy in the store. Not saying they're bad amps, but they're like mid-level amps. They're pretty good. They sound kind of good. Uh, but I think what they're making Brad is really good. Whatever they're making for him, really really good. So
Yeah.
yeah, all good stuff.
Mark Robinson comments he was sat across from Ozzy and Sharon on a flight from LAX to Heathrow. That's a long flight. A few
Man,
years ago now. Talked to both of them. So nice. That's awesome.
Leo Safko says Brad did a hell of a job keeping Ozzy afloat
Yeah.
after Randy passed away, and that is absolutely the truth. From what I'm told, or from what I read, uh, Brad was learning songs on the flight to the
Mm-hmm.
rehearsal.
Yeah, just listening to the album on a Walkman, like not even having guitar in hand, I believe, just listening to
Yeah,
the
and
album.
got the gig just like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's amazing. Wayne says David had his black cowboy hat, and Kenny was on the money as you were too. That was a kind of profession. That is what a professional does. Makes the best of any gig.
Yep.
Well, that's true. It is very true, and thank you for the compliment. Back then, I was on my game. I was gigging 5 to 6 nights a week. Uh, I always had a guitar in my hand. I was always playing. I didn't have problems with my hands the way I have now. And although I was probably 40 or 50 pounds heavier than I am now, I was on my game as a guitar player. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was great to be able to go anywhere and say, yeah, I play a little guitar. And I would never float my boat. I would never, go in
Right.
and say who I am. But I'd get very, you remember, you got to be the three B's. When you go to a bar, remember the three B's. Be friendly to the bartender, the band, and the bouncer. If you're friends with the three B's, good things happen. And the first thing I do when a band takes a break is hang out with them. I buy them a
Mm-hmm.
drink and we talk. And then I say, yeah, I play guitar. I kind of do this and that. And it generally ends up where they ask me questions and I open up a little bit and then they invite me to play. And either I
Mm-hmm.
have a guitar in the car or I use the guitar player's guitar, whatever. And it usually happens that way. And you make a network of friends that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do that all the time. I would go into bars that I didn't really know. I didn't know people there, but it was a way to network.
Sure.
A good way to network where people didn't think, well, this guy is full of himself. Because I wasn't. I would just go there, maybe have a drink, and enjoy the band. And then you get to talking, and then the band says, "Hey, play a song," and then the bartender says, "Hey, you're very good. Do you have a band? Would you like to play here?" And that's how you network.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I used to do it.
Sure. Paul Fuchs had to head out.
Take care, Paul. Bozique says, but to follow up what the guy earlier said about you being a nice guy when he met you, Dave, Joe Wentz said the same thing on his show last week. He said he met you and visited your dad. That's absolutely true.
See you,
When I
Sandra.
when I would go visit my father in North Carolina, Joe lives in South Carolina, about an hour away from where my father lives. So Joe asked if he can come by, and he did. And every time I would go visit my father, he would come by for a day and hang out, and we'd have a great time. I love Joe. In fact, I'm going to ask Joe if he wants to be a guest on the show at some point. I think that would be good. Ben, you know Joe Wentz, right?
I do.
Yeah, I think we'll have him on as a guest. I'll contact him tomorrow and see if he wants to date. What do you think?
I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
See, Wayne says, Dave, you were always in the pocket and humble, and it was great to lay down a solid bottom for you. Spoken like a true bass player. I love that.
Well, I appreciate it. Believe me. And you know what? When you have good musicians behind you, you can be a monkey on the guitar, and the band is still going to sound good. A lot of guitar players think, well, if the guitar player is great, the band's going to be great. That's not true at all. You need a great drummer and you need a great bass player. And if you have a great player and drummer that are in the pocket together, then honestly, you can be a monkey on the guitar and play 3 chords, and the band is going to sound fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, it's a huge relief when you play with a solid rhythm section. That's the easiest way to play. It's a huge relief.
Yeah.
BV says, my friend Carmen Vandenberg, Bones UK, has a great sounding Black Star signature combo. Nice.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to check those out. Maybe I need to give them a second chance, because the ones that I've ever played or the ones that I've ever heard, they didn't do it for me. They sounded very generic, very.
I don't know if I've ever played one.
Very pedestrian.
Mm-hmm.
Take care, Sandra.
Yeah.
45 pairs of eyes still on us. We got about 15 minutes left. Is there anything that anyone wants to contribute on here?
Yeah.
Anyone want to talk about anything?
Anything that's on your mind? Oh, add to the list of gear that I would like is they come out last year, the mini JCM 800 heads.
Oh, really? I haven't seen one.
Yeah, they did a mini Plexi and a mini JCM. I don't know, 20, 25 watts. And sound great. Plugged into one end, power to 412, no problem if you want to. And I used one last year in some demos over at Long McQuaid. And I was just like, wow, that was easy to dial in. Because I find Marshalls can be hit and miss for dialing in a good tone for whatever reason. At least for me personally. I have a little hard time, but I think it dialed right in, and then I think I threw like an SD1 in front of it, and it just, sounded awesome. Hey guys, did you see the Steve Vai new Hydra guitar?
No, I don't think I have. What is it exactly? You know what? Let's look for it. Absolute Mayhem said, Dave, you guys were talking about sparkle paint. What about quilt tops? Of course.
Holy crap.
Of course,
I'm
a fan of quilt tops.
Let's all right. Yep, that's got a lot of necks, and all right, here, let's just share that.
Okay, hang on a second, guys.
Share screen. Chrome tab. Google search.
I've got nothing on here. Oh, there it is. Oh, I saw this. I'm not a fan.
That's so it's got a 6-string, a 12, and what, a bass? Headless bass?
Yeah, it looks like it. Or maybe
that just covers.
Might be a
covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I did see that. I didn't know what it was called. But it's not really. I mean, whoever built it, it's definitely
the 12-string is running out of frets halfway up there, Dave.
Wow,
it's half fretless.
It's half a fretless guitar.
Only Steve Vai could play a fretless 12 string. Who?
I'm gonna tell you something. There was a guy, and I can't remember his name right now. A guy I worked with when I worked at Manny's in like '96 or '97, who played fretless guitar, fretless electric guitar. And for some reason, I remember his. I think his first name was John, and I can't remember his last name. But anyway, he had a company building him fretless guitars, and then G&L started making them fretless guitars.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, he was amazing. He was probably the best fretless guitar player I've ever heard. Like, amazing. And I can't for the life of me remember his name now. But it's, it's very hard to do. Fretless guitar, especially without lines, no dots.
Couldn't do it myself.
But he was amazing at it.
I barely get by with frets and side markers, and
he would play songs like Greek songs,
Randy.
Kind of stuff. Take care, Randy. He would play all kinds of like Greek stuff and stuff with quarter tones in it. My goodness, amazing. Good stuff.
I think Absolute Mayhem's grandson got a hold of the keyboard. Just saying.
That's very funny.
Any more word on the 5150 replica collaboration?
No, I
haven't heard anything as of right now.
I don't think we're going to hear anything for quite a while. I think what's happening is that EVH, Fender, and Gibson are in the collaboration, the talk of how's it going to come out, how are we going to split the money, all that stuff. I think that's and that being said, I believe that there may be a prototype made already. There may be. I have not seen it, and it's a rumor.
Yeah.
I don't know for a fact that there's a prototype made, but I'm thinking there's a prototype already made. But I think that they're talking about the business end right now.
So it means, I think, and the only reason why they're getting the official side from Kramer/Gibson is so they can have the correct headstock for whatever it is, because those 5150 kind of heads, they're not the same at all.
No.
On the 5150 series.
And to tell you the truth, the headstocks that are on the Gibson Kramer guitars, they're not correct either.
No.
They're not.
So hopefully they'll go for the correct headstock. I'm wondering if they'll actually place a Kramer logo on it, if it's going to be a true replica, and that's part of the.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be a 7-tuner modern day version of his guitar, because it's not going to. They're not going to do any particular era. They're going to do what it looks like today, like they did with the Frankenstein. It's going to be what it looks like right now.
Right. All right. So apparently Magic Man has gone off, decided on speakers, came back, and he's decided on the Greenback/Cannabis Rex pairing, which that'll be a nice pairing.
Yep. It'll sound good.
Called it on Mayhem's grandson. Knew it. What do you think the price would be?
It's going to be $25,000 or more.
Yeah. Well, was the original, if the original was like 25, this one will probably be 30, 35?
No, I think that 25,000 is the price of these things.
Yeah.
When they make replica guitars, I think the price is they just put it at $25,000.
Right.
Especially if Fender has something to do with it. But I think
you never hear anything about that high-end Bumblebee they did. Like, we heard it was released, but like you never see any out in the wild, or
I think they all sold out. I think they all sold.
Yeah, but none have come up on like the secondary market yet or anything. Like, because you see some of those Frankensteins. Usually, there's one usually available at any given time, at least.
Yeah. Bri, I don't think it's going to be $10,000. I think that's pretty light for that. I think if Fender has anything to do with it, which they do, it'll be $25,000.
And if it's $2,000 for a made in Mexico Frankie, then $10,000 for a custom shop would be cheap, because it's a lot of work to go into one of those guitars.
We're also talking about Eddie Van Halen's guitar. It's not you know, it's going to be a very limited number of guitars.
Yeah.
It's Eddie Van Halen's guitar. It's probably the second most iconic guitar on the planet, Frankenstein being the first. So it's going to be $25,000
Mm-hmm.
if it happens at all.
Yeah. But at least if you get one, don't be afraid to play it. What are you going to do? Relic it?
It's very funny.
But
I don't.
you'll have to bring in yourself or Rob Johnson to when selling one of those replicas secondhand, because Rob be like, that scratch is not supposed to be there.
Very true. But what I think they do, I think they put a very, very light clear coat on it, so
Right.
that you can't really put any more dings and scratches on it. When we make replicas, we do the same thing.
Right.
You can't actually see the clear coat. It'll look like it looks like Eddie's guitars, but it's a very, very thin coat of clear, so that when you play the guitar, you're not putting any more wear in it.
Right.
You know,
You're not
at least
feeling all those edges as
right
much
away.
either, I imagine.
Well, you are feeling all the edges,
But
You-
they wouldn't be like sharp. You know what I mean? Like it's bumpy,
Right.
but not jagged, I guess.
That's
is what
very
it is.
true. Very true. Very true.
That's right, Muddy Waters. Finally, a guitar I can solder on. That's right. Them and the Frankies. That's it.
That's it. Bozique, you know, do you need to sell your house? I don't know about that. You know, I mean, the guitar is certainly not for everyone. $25,000 is a lot of money,
Yep.
but let's face it, you don't have to sell your house to buy one of those things. You can take a loan out. You can, you know, it's not that expensive considering what expensive is for some guitars these days. You know, I go to my buddy at Wellstrung Guitars once a week, and those guitars are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
$100,000 for a custom color Strat. You know, $100,000, $80,000 for a Blackguard Telecaster. $100,000, $150,000 for a Broadcaster. $450,000 for a '59 Les Paul. That's expensive. And don't get me wrong, I know 25 grand is a lot of money. It's expensive. I can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you don't have to go selling a house to buy it.
Yep.
You know,
But
there
then
are
again,
ways-
you know, like there's, you know, you look at a lot of the companies, their custom shop stuff, you know, like a 10 top PRS with all the accuments, they're 10 grand
or more.
or more. Yeah. And and they can build another one. Like there's no defined number of those guitars. They can build another one tomorrow. See you, Mayhem.
Take care, Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expensive guitars. Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we're going to stop it right here tonight.
Yeah.
It's 9:30.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember to check us out next week. We have Andy Alladort on as our guest.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking about his record, and it'll be a great night. It's always fun with Andy. Thanks, everyone, for checking us out tonight. And Ben, thanks again. As always, a great show.
Always fun, Dave.
Excuse me for tearing the crap out of my arm, but I've got an itch. I think I
It's
got
that
bit.
time of year. You know, humidity drops, we get itchy.
Check that out. I got bit by
Ooh.
something. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody that tuned in tonight. We appreciate it. Thanks to the Mod Squad for helping out. And again, if you're new, please subscribe. Leave a like, regardless, new or returning. If you're watching on replay and you made it this far, you might as well leave a comment. You know, like you made it basically all the way to the end. So, hey, Pooh Ninja.
Very
the
true.
legend
Hey,
himself.
a little bit late tonight, but you're all right. Check it out from the beginning. We're going to say goodnight right here. And again,
Yeah.
thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next week.
Cheers, folks.